Welcome to the Winston-Salem Cycling Classic. This is my hometown race. Almost always get a call up here. This time it is the last call up because USA Crits is not too fond of me not being on what was Miami Nights, and so got the last minute call up on the front row here. My tradition is to go for it, but didn't really have a lot of space here before we got to the top of the hill. Ended up finding some space on the right here around Danny, and sent it a little bit onto the curb. Jumped into that first corner first. Kind of had a plan with Nico, who you'll see in a minute, of somebody should probably let the wheel go if we all get a front row call up. So I get a little bit of a gap. Danny's chasing me down, and Nico is actually just right on his wheel. Once we get into this second corner here, you can see that we've got a little bit of a gap, and Danny yells at me that this is it, like, let's go. And you can see back there, one of the work hard, be humble dudes kind of drilling it on the front, not quite wanting what happened 2 years ago to happen today. If you haven't seen that video, I made a video 2 years ago. I attacked from the gun and took Alfredo Rodriguez, the Mexican from Rainstorm, and Ty Magner with me. We had a little gap here. There's Nico. It didn't work this year. So we're a little bit back together. Rainstorm guys all still up in the front. Got Rebellion there. Nico's just going to keep pushing. There was a $200 premium on the first lap, so Nico's just going to sweep up that $200. I just slot right behind Gomez here, hoping things chill out a little bit this first lap. I got a little sick after Nationals, all that rain just getting into the sinuses, so still recovering from that here. And yeah, I'm already hurting. Like, we're doing 800 watts up this hill the first time. Nico's sending it pretty hard up there. Lap 2, not too bad. Our goal for this race was pretty much just to be present, make it hard, and I almost always over race when that is the case, but we're going to keep an eye on Rainstorm. Speaking of the devil, Gomez sends a little move around that, and I've got to jump on his wheel. Alfredo's on my wheel here, and I'm going to try and shut it down, and Brian sees that, and he decides to indeed shut it down, which, looking back, we had like kind of a gap, so I decided to keep some pressure on the pedals, but this course is kind of weird. The field keeps momentum pretty well, so even keeping pressure and having Alfredo and Brian there, who rolled through just a little bit, we weren't able to hold that gap yet again. Will kind of be the theme of the race, is there's going to be a lot of momentum and a lot of losing momentum. A little bit later on in the race here, it's like 6 minutes later, and there is already a split, like a big group up the front, and I'm yelling in the radio, guys, there's a break growing. I just tried to bridge to it, and everybody seems to hear that, and so one of the Kelly guys attacks, and the field regains its momentum, just pulls that brake back, you can see up there on the front, and we are just a few laps into this race. It's already super hard. You can see Matthew Crab with a little wave in the rear camera there, and jump towards the hill this next lap. Danny follows an attack there, and I have free space. No teammates quite able to respond to that, so it is on me, and I'm just going to have to keep pace on up the hill. I am already over racing this race, and I'm hurting pretty good, so I'm just going to continue to race hard, hoping everybody else is hurting. It felt like this was like one of the easier additions. See my teammate Eli here getting up to the front and helping us out a little bit, but even with attacks like this for me, it didn't seem like anybody was having too much trouble pulling stuff back. Rainstorm was being kind of opportunistic, and so was River Rebellion here, pulling me back. He was riding pretty strong the whole weekend, throwing a attack on the left side. What you couldn't see there was he was pretty far over on the curb, and Rainstorm just right onto that. Eli back on the front here after my little attack, which shut up that, and then he had to pull it back. we catch him on the hill, and I decide to go again. Actually, this is a few laps later, and there's a little break up the road. You can see the break right there. And I wanted that back. This might be the one with, no, that's a bunch of guys. Later on in the race, Gomez and one of the Work Hard, Be Humble guys actually went off the front for a long period of time. And that one was super threatening. Plenty of moves like this were happening. Just like welding things back together. Not one team in particular really pulling stuff back together, but here you can see Kyle Teasler. There's still that break off the front. He's like, you want to go next lap? I was like, yeah, I'll go next lap with you. So I'm just going to follow him around a little bit. He actually lost me around that next lap. You see it would like get pretty bunched up here, and he sent it off the front on his own. And was out there on his own for quite a while. A little bit later, his teammate Gabe, who's actually staying at my house, hit it pretty hard out of one of those faster corners. Alfredo's on his wheel, and I tacked on to Alfredo's wheel and come around through the start-finish. And there's still a little break up the road. Gomez ended up jumping across to it, and he's bringing that Work Hard, Be Humble guy. I think it might have been Anthony Serrano, who they both went together for a long period of time. Here they are, just getting brought back, and yeah, it's on now. It's getting weird. Nobody could really tell like what was gonna happen. It always feels like a break's gonna go on this course, just because you can roll so much smoother off the front. But it just was weird the entire time. Like brakes would go, and then momentum would get pulled back. You can see my teammate on the front there in the salmon jersey. He actually is just sent an attack into those bottom corners and is winding it up the hill there. And now it's my time to counter. How am I countering so often? Well, I'm glad you asked. I finally got a ambassadorship type thing. Somebody reached out to me and wanted to send me a massage gun. So I got a massage gun. Look at this thing. Brad and Bob massage gun. It is just like all the nice massage guns I've ever used. They're on Amazon. I'll put a link down in the description. I've been using it to recover between races. They give you like a nice pouch and all these things. It's USB-C charging. It's cool. They didn't tell me anything to say, but I've been using it and it feels nice. Check them out. Thanks to them. Back to me attacking, I guess. Everything had gotten back together at this point, and we were getting some news in the radio that we should make it pretty hard. People were hurt, and hopefully we can be the ones making this race positive. So I sent a little attack. See Andrew Strohmeyer on my wheel there, and I'm giving him kind of the elbow flick once we get to this point. Hoping we can roll this. A little bit later here, Caleb Langrebe, he was hitting it very hard up this hill, just sending a hard attack. Michael Hernandez wasn't having it. I wasn't having it. I was pretty hurt at this point, and we get a little bit later into the race, and Ribble guy right there, super strong, won one of the Redlands days. He drifted back. Next lap, had some more energy, so he just sent it right there into that breakaway, and this was the substantial break of the day. Stayed off for quite a while. We wanted to get it back. I was doing frantic moves like this, trying to bring it back. It just kind of like stayed off the front for a long time, and we were all pretty scared it was going to happen. I think there was like a 30-second gap to it, and yeah, thought it was going to go. Eventually, Clayton came up, asked me how I'm doing. I felt terrible. I told him that. That brake's still off the front, so I'm consulting with him. If we get clear, so one of us has got to try and make it across. I kind of thought they might sit up that next lap, and right here, they're kind of sitting up. You can see Clayton in my draft there, and we're just going to move up to the front a little bit. I'm putting a lot of power down compared to some of the other efforts we've done in this, but now we're back up to the front. on the downhill section and in perfect position to follow Alfredo's attack here. Alfredo sent it pretty good, and I jumped onto his wheel. There is still a break off the front. I think they had either Para or Castanea in the break there, but Alfredo was going to make it across to this move, get more of their guys in there. The field, or the breakaway, sat up at the exact same time, so we were able to get back in, and Caleb sent it super hard up the side there. I think that is when the last little move went, but 10 minutes to go, everything is back together. Gomez had just spent a ton of time off the front solo, and I know a lot of those Rainstorm guys are tired, and they're boxed in here. I wanted to send an attack, but didn't quite get over in time to carry momentum through that corner, so I had to sit up just a little bit there, and decided not to actually send that attack. So, sitting on wheel here, and Butcher Box sends an attack. Everybody comes by me, kind of get folded in. There's still 8 minutes to go, but I'm pretty tired at this point, so we're just going to try and get Caleb and I, we're going to try and get Clayton and I as far up as we possibly can. You can see everybody's like bumping and barging. One of the NGCA guys bumped into a Foundation dude, and they both hit the ground. One of them hit the ground pretty hard, mainly the Foundation guy. And that caused splits like this, which Clayton and I had to like close down pretty hard, but we were able to make it back into the group. There's only 5 minutes left. There's like 2 or 3 laps left in this, and I'm doing efforts like this, and it is not a good idea for my finish of the race. I was hurting pretty bad too. The lungs were burning. You can see Rainstorm leading it out on the front. This is the last lap, and they've got like 5 guys in their train here, which is looking great for them. One of the dudes in the NGCA team sat up through that corner, and Clayton's on the front there, having to pull that back. I think he had Kyle Teasler on his wheel, so he's doing a massive effort, just trying to pull this little like 10-man group in the last lap back, and he does get back onto that. Teasler comes around him, and in just enough time to get to those bottom few corners. Pretty much all the positions are cemented at this point, like you're not going to come around anybody in the bottom 2 corners. I ended up sprinting it in for like 18. Clayton, I think, jumped into the top 10 with 9th place. Alfredo Rodriguez in first, Cole Davis of Verbal Rebellion, and Alberto Ramos rounding out the podium. Thanks for watching. See ya.